26 April 1994. Flight 140 departed from Taipei International Airport, Taiwan, towards its destination of Nagoya Airport, Japan. After initial descent and contact with Nagoya approach control, the flight was clear for the instrument landing system approach to runway 34 and was switched to the Nagoya tower frequency at approximately 87 local time. It was night time and Nagoya Airport weather at the time was reported as winds from 280 degrees at 8 knots, visibility of 20 kilometers, cumulus clouds at 3000 feet and a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. During the initial phase of the approach, both autopilot systems were engaged as well as the auto throttles. After passing the ILS outer marker and receiving landing clearance, the first officer, who was the pilot flying, disengaged the autopilot system and continued the ILS approach manually. When passing through the approximately 1000 feet on the approach glide path, the first officer inadvertently triggered the go-around levers, placing the auto throttle into go-around mode, which led to an increase in thrust. This increase in thrust caused the aircraft to level off at approximately 1040 feet for 15 seconds and resulted in the flight path becoming high relative to the ILS glide slope. The captain recognized that the go-around lever had been triggered and instructed the flight officer to disengage it and correct the flight path down to the desired glide slope. While manually trying to correct the glide path with forward yoke, the first officer engaged the autopilot, causing it to be engaged in the go-around mode as well. As he manually attempted to recapture the glide slope from above by reducing thrust and pushing the yoke forward, he was providing pitch inputs to the elevator that were opposite the autopilot commands to the THS, which was attempting to command pitch up for a go-around. The THS progressively moved from minus 5.3 degrees to its maximum nose-up limit of approximately minus 12.3 degrees as the aircraft passed through approximately 880 feet. During this period, the first officer continued to apply increasing manual nose-down command through forward yoke control, which resulted in increasing nose-down elevator movement opposite the THS movement, masking the out-of-trim condition. The first officer attempted to use the pitch trim control switch to reduce the control force required on the yoke. However, because pitch trim control of the THS is inhibited during autopilot operation, it had no effect. In a normal trim condition, the THS and elevator should remain closely aligned. However, because of the opposing autopilot command, THS and manually commanded elevator for approximately 30 seconds, the THS and elevator became mistrimmed. Passing through approximately 700 feet, the autopilot was disengaged, but the THS remained at its last commanded position of minus 12.3 degrees. Also at this time, due to the thrust reduction commanded by the first officer, the airspeed decreased to a low level, resulting in an increasing angle of attack. As a result, the automatic alpha floor function of the aircraft was activated, causing an increasing in thrust and a further pitch up. The alpha flow function of the A300 is a AOA protection feature intended to prevent excessive angle of attack during normal operations. Because of the greater size of the THS relative to the elevator, the available elevator control power or authority was overcome as the aircraft neared 570 feet on the approach. Upon hearing the first officer report that he could not push the nose further down and that the throttles had latched, the captain took control, unaware of the THS position. Upon assuming control, the captain initially attempted to continue the approach, but was surprised by the strong resistive force to his full nose-down control inputs. He retarded the throttles in an attempt to recapture the glide slope. Unable to control the increasing nose-up pitch, which had reached 22 degrees, he called for the go-around lever shortly thereafter in attempt to execute a go-around. The increasing thrust added additional nose-up pitch moment and resulted in an uncontrolled steep climb. As airspeed continued to decrease and angle of attack continued to rise. During the attempted go-around, the captain only operated the pitch trim briefly, indicating he was unaware of the mistrim position of the THS. Furthermore, flaps slats had been retracted 2 positions to the go-around setting, which increased the airplane pitch up and reduced the stall margin. The aircraft continued to climb steeply up to 1,730 feet, with angle of attack rapidly increasing and airspeed decreasing, reaching a maximum pitch angle of approximately 53 degrees until the stall warning and subsequent stall. Once stalled, the aircraft nose lowered to a steep dive and the captain applied full aft yoke in an attempt to recover from dive. However, the aircraft remained stalled until impact. The captain Wang Lo-chi radioed going around, indicating that he was aborting the landing and about to turn for another attempt. The tower responded, "Roger, stand by for further instructions." This was the last contact with China Airlines Flight 140. 30 seconds later, it crashed in a ball of flames to the right of the runway. China Airlines Flight 140 was a regularly scheduled passenger flight from Chiang Kai-shek International Airport serving Taipei, Taiwan to Nagoya Airport in Nagoya, Japan. On 26 April 1994, the Airbus A300 B4-622R was completing a routine flight and approach when just seconds before landing at Nagoya Airport, the takeoff go-around setting was inadvertently triggered. The pilot's attempt to pitch the aircraft down while the autopilot, which was not disabled, was pitching the aircraft up. The aircraft ultimately stalled and crashed onto the ground, killing 264 of the 271 people on board. To date, the accident remains the deadliest accident in aviation history of China Airlines and the second deadliest aviation accident on Japanese soil, behind Japan Airlines Flight 123. It's also the third deadliest aviation incident involving an Airbus A300, after Iran Flight 655 and later American Airlines Flight 587. Of the 271 people on board, including 15 crew and 256 passengers, only 7 passengers survived. All of the survivors were seated in rows 7 through 15. On 27 April 1994, officials said there were 10 survivors, including a 3-year-old child, and that a Filipino, 2 Taiwanese, and 7 Japanese survived. By 6 May, only 7 remained alive, including 3 children. A doctor expressed surprise at the survival of 2 of the children.